Hello. How are you guys doing? It is so cold. It is like 30. I was looking because I just sent this girl I just responded to her Snapchat. I've been like trying to keep up on my Snapchats. It's so funny because I went through like all my Snapchats last night and I got all caught up. I don't really understand the new Snapchat thing. But I got all caught up. And now, like, nobody's sending me any snaps. So, like, I opened it, like, every hour today, and I didn't get, like, any snaps, which is so hilarious to me. But I just sent this girl one. She was like, I'm from Boston, and I love you. And she was so sweet. So I, like, sent her one back. And I was like, what's up, Boston? I was like, park your car on Harvard Yard. But anyway, it's been a good day today. You guys know I love my Sundays. I love my Sundays so much. And I'm getting ready to go up and meet my friend Lori at the casino. She's actually been up there for a while. So I wasn't going to go. And then I went and I did like look through all my money and my bills for the rest of the month. I was like, you know, I have money. I'm going to go up to the casino tonight and visit my friend Lori. So I'm going up there to do that. Hold on a second, make sure. Charge my phone for a little bit. And I'm going to I go to the bank machine and then I'm going to fill my tire because my tire it's low every day. A couple of people commented about it yesterday and they were like, oh, you probably have like a nail in it or something like that. I might, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that what happened was, because I was talking to my friend about this the other night, is that, okay, the potholes in Indiana are really bad, and depending on where you live, you might not know what potholes are, but like every winter, because of the ice, we get potholes. And so what happens is the ice freezes over the street, and especially if they're older streets, it like cracks it up, and then when it unfreezes, like the ice comes out, but then you have these huge holes, right, that are like jagged. And so if you're not watching exactly where you go, and sometimes it's like you're going like all over the place trying to avoid them, then you go down and up them, and they can just destroy your tires. And so a lot of people, you know, are affected by that every winter, and I think that's what happened. But my friend said to me, he goes, I bet it's not your tire, I bet it's the sealant or something to do with my rim. So I'm gonna try, I'm either gonna do it tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm gonna take it into the tire place and get it fixed. Also, I know that in the state of Indiana, because Alex was telling me this, they'll pay for part of the repair on your tire if the tire place says it's from a pothole, because apparently they can tell or something. I don't know. So, yeah. That's all I have to say about all that. So, that's been real fun to have to deal with for the last, whatever, 4 days, 5 days. I've complained about it every day on here. But I'm going to get that fixed. And then today we woke up. I got done with my vlog last night. It was weird. I got done with my vlog and I was like sitting there and I was getting ready to listen to my audiobook, and I was like looking at my phone and it said 3 a.m. And then I was like looking at the clock on my car and it said 2 a.m. And I was like, oh, is it daylight savings time? Like I had totally forgotten, right? So I like reset my clock, and then I was like, God, it's really late. So I listened to a little bit of my audiobook, and then I went home and I finished watching the Joan Didion documentary on Netflix. Okay, so I have received today alone so many messages from people. Specifically one I remember that I think I got a tweet was from Annie Z. Hey Annie, saying that thank you about the documentary because they watched it. Okay, I don't even know how to put into words what this documentary did to me. And when I talked about it last night, I thought I was like a lot further in it than I was. But I really was only about a third of the way through it. This documentary so profoundly impacted me, you guys. Like, I so have the right of way, and this guy is just barreling through. It so profoundly impacted me, I just can't even explain to you guys on the level that it impacted me. I mean, it's crazy. and I'm getting ready to go through the bank machine. So I'll be back in a second, and I'll talk to you about how much it impacted me. Okay. Well, first of all, as a writer, it greatly impacted me. And it was interesting, her perspective, like, just about writing. And she very much she's still alive. She very much feels like with her writing that it's not like, she sees it as a job, but it's not like something that she feels passionately driven to do. It's like she feels like she is compelled to do it, like she has to do it. And this is what I loved the most about it, was that her drive to write is to discover her own feelings and thoughts about a situation. And so for her, it's really a therapeutic process. And I thought, this is fantastic. And as I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, this is so very much the way that I look at my blog writing or my essay writing, which I've been working on, you know, kind of up and down, and I had stopped a while ago. And, but I was like, it's always kind of been my dream to have a book very similar to like Augustin Burroughs or David Sedaris or whatever, you know, like stories of my life, because I relate so much to those when I read them. And so anyway, I immediately got done with this documentary, and I contacted my publisher, who thankfully is in Germany. She used to be in India, but she moved to Germany recently. And I said, have you seen this documentary about Joan Didion? And she said, no. She's like, do I need to watch it? And I said, yes, everybody that is a writer or that is a reader needs to watch this documentary. Anybody needs to watch this documentary. It's fantastic. Her perspective on the world is fantastic. And as an observer of even the smallest detail, and they don't say it. Like, it's not like they come out and say these things. Like, it's what you assume by watching a documentary. The music in the background is so beautiful. The scenes that they show are so it's all of it. It's just, she just lived a life. Okay, let's just say that, okay? She interviewed that, like, Linda Casares, who was, like, Manson's, like, girlfriend at the time that he was arrested. And it's just, like, that whole story is, like, so crazy interesting to me. She was like a journalist that like went to El Salvador, did the Manson things. She did like all of these like crazy like journalistic reporting things. But at the same time, she was also a fiction writer, and her husband and her also wrote screenplays. And at the end of it, she just recently wrote a play. And I don't want to get into too much of it because I think a lot of it is what you don't know about her that's interesting. But at one point, she needs to deal with grief. And so she writes one book, which is The Year of Magical Thinking, which is the book of hers that I have. Now, I have never read any of her stuff, okay? But like a year ago, I bought The Year of Magical Thinking. I saw it at Half Price Books, and I had heard of Joan Didion because of the Celine. I'm not going to even bullshit. It's not like I'm some literary giant that I understood everything about her. I didn't know nothing, okay? I mean, I had heard of Joan Didion the way that people have heard of, like, Annie Leibovitz, like, you know, the photographer. But I didn't really know her work or anything. And then the Celine ad, you know, came out with her with the sunglasses on. And, so they go in there and they explain, the whole thing is like narrated by, I think it's by her brother-in-law or like her nephew. And she goes in there, who's actually Griffin Dunn, the writer. Her husband was John Dunn, the writer. So she goes in there and he explains why she wrote that book. And then she has another book that she wrote called Blue Night. What is so fantastic about this documentary is that they read parts of her work, and she reads parts of her work as they're going through and they're doing it. And it's just, she is such a simple writer, but like such a beautiful writer. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. It very, very much reminds me of a lot of the Southern literature that I read when I was in college, because a lot of my focus was on Southern literature, where it wasn't about these, you know, I think we've gotten into a period of contemporary literature where we are very wordy and, you know, adjective driven. And it's not about that. It's about like the smallest details. And, I don't know. I just was so moved by it. And I talked to my publisher and I said, hey, listen, I said, I want to move forward on this book of essays. What do you think? And she said, yeah, I think that's what your heart is calling you to do. I think that's what you need to do. You need to get it done. Let's get that done. Let's get it out. And I said, okay. And she was like, did you know that Zadie Smith just came out with, Gina, the writer, Zadie Smith? She was like, she just came out with a book of essays. It's doing very well. And she said, why are you feeling driven to do this other than your work of fiction right now? And I said, I feel like my heart needs to tell these stories. Maybe now while I remember them clearly. You know, fiction is fun. I love to write fiction. I've written short stories and, you know, worked on pieces, longer pieces for my entire life. I'm kind of in between two different pieces and going back and forth. And I don't feel real committed to either one of them. But then I sit down and I start telling these stories of my life, and I started my Peterisms channel, which I just adore that channel. You know, I've been like, today, well, I filmed a lot of videos today, and I just find myself sitting there on my Peterisms channel, and I just love that channel so much. Whether I'm talking about stuff that, like, doesn't really have anything important to do with the grand scheme of things or not, like, I just love that channel, and it's like, I don't know, I just love telling these stories of, I just love being a storyteller, you know, and, you know, I grew up, like, curled into the corner of a couch late at night, you know, acting like I was asleep when my parents and their friends would sit around and have cocktails late into the night, and a fire burning and candles burning, you know, and snow blowing outside, or sitting on the patio, like, late into the night, you know, on warm August nights, and I would just sit there and I would listen to these stories that they would all tell, you know, of, like, yesteryear, and, you know, like, when they were in college, and I would just sit there and I would just listen to the stories. I've always loved stories, and you know, whether I'm being read out of a book or I'm, you know, like a silent observer, like I was in those situations, I love stories, and so I think that's why I really like that channel. And so I think that's why, you know, like, my gut and my heart is telling me to go with that. And so I said to her, I said, listen, I don't have a lot of time to work on it before I go to Miami. I said, but when I come back from Miami, I am, like, driven to do this. So I said, I'm going to come back. And this is what happened with my last book, you guys. I came back from Miami. I literally came back from Miami. I took that weekend off. And then on Monday, I started working on my book. And 3 weeks later, 3 weeks to the day later, I had finished my book. And I said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get this book done. She said, I'm excited to read the manuscript. She said, I can't wait to get it. And then when that's done, I'm hoping that I feel a little bit more driven to go back to the fiction stuff. So we can only hope, you know? But that documentary, man, just a beautiful woman. Just a beautiful way of looking at the world, you know? Not a lot of anger towards things, you know, just present and observing the world around her. And I don't know, I need to take some lessons like that I'm not so personally affected by everything that happens in the world, maybe. You know, that maybe some things aren't really happening to me or affect me, but maybe things are happening around me. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I don't know. It's like I feel like a lot of times in the world, well, I guess I should only speak from my own experience. I feel like a lot of times I personalize so much that happens, you know, when really, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't have so much to do with me. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's see if the deer are out tonight. I'll tell you what's so funny about these damn deer is that they are never out when I start my vlog. But when I'm coming home later, like late at night, they're always out. I think deer are so magical. So yeah, it was awesome. I just love, like, and then I have to say, it's so weird because it reminded me of There was something about it that reminded me of the movie Frances with Jessica Lange. And when I was a freshman in high school, I remember this girl, and she ended up going on to be, I've talked about this a little bit, but she ended up going on to be in some movies. And she left where I went to school, and I think she went to a boarding school, and she may have met like Winona Ryder at boarding school, and they became friends or something. I don't really know how it all went down, but she was very cool. She was very like mysterious to me and different. And I remember at one point, like I was like in a typing class with her, and she was reading the autobiography of Frances Farmer, and it's called What If Tomorrow Never Comes, I think is what it's called. But I remember her like carrying this book, and I was intrigued about everything to do with her. And this is before I had seen the movie Frances, which I love that movie anyway. And if you guys don't know who Frances Farmer was, an actress, and she ended up going through, like, she was in a mental hospital, and she ended up going through shock therapy and things like that. And she actually lived in Indianapolis for a while. I think she might be buried here. And she lived on a house in the White River. It's this gorgeous house, and my mom used to drive by, and she'd say, that's Frances Farmer's Hollywood house, because it's like this white house, and it legit looks like a Hollywood house. It's crazy. And so I said something about that on Twitter today. Ask and you shall receive. Put something out there into the universe, I have learned. And I said, my only goal today is to find a copy of Frances Farmer's autobiography. And, okay, I think it's Lola. I wanted to make sure I knew this before I started. And of course, as soon as I started it, I forgot who it was. So when I get it to the light, I'll look it up. But it said she had a copy at her mom's house and that she was going to send it to me. I was like, oh my God! I'm dying. I'm absolutely dying, you guys, because I got online and I looked for this book, and the paperback, like a shitty copy of the paperback, is like $34, which, I mean, I'll pay, but at the same time, Lola, you have made this man's day, seriously. Annie Z, I also want to say, I can't talk about it on here because she asked me not to talk about it, but Annie Z sent me a little special something, and I cannot even begin to express how happy it has made me. So anyway, you guys, and like the little things that you do, or the really nice things that you do, or whatever, it just like, I don't want you to think that it ever goes missed on me, whether it's a postcard or a comment or a blue heart on a video or whatever. Like, I love all of it. Like, it's just so amazing to me. And it's sometimes hard for me when people say things to me like, you know, it's okay, it's weird, because it's not like I'm walking out onto like a stage and I see you guys all sitting there. I really just see a camera. Like, I see this right now, you know, and I'm just talking to a camera, and then I turn the camera off, and honestly, like 90% of the time, especially with the vlog, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Like, it was like really like an hour therapy session for me. I mean, I feel very, like, it's cathartic for me at the end, right? To just like get all that shit out and just be like, oh, you know, like, and just talk through all this random stuff. And I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I think this is crazy that I have been going for almost 15 months now, and I still have not ran out of shit to talk about. And this year, in 2017, I have literally vlogged almost every day, well, with the exception of that pathetic 4-minute and 55-second vlog. But even that night, I talked for an hour. I just didn't upload it because I lost it. But I have talked almost every day for an hour on here, okay? That is crazy. And I haven't ran out of anything to talk about. But you know, like, I love this so much, but I'm not going to be a bullshit artist. If I was posting these videos and nobody was watching them, and I was getting 20 views, I don't know that I would still be posting them. I don't know that I would still be filming them. So, I mean, thank you guys. Like, just watching the video or part of the video or giving it a view or a like or whatever, like, allows me to continue to do this. And I just love it so much. I just love everything about this so much, you know? And no, this isn't the end of my vlog, but I just love it. You know, it's just like the coolest thing in the whole world. What was I doing? Like, I turned down here and I was like, I already went to the bank machine. Oh, I'm going to put air in my tire. But thank you, you know, for allowing me to do this really cool thing. And it was interesting because I was talking to my publisher and she said, you know, Peter, you're always somebody that realizes creatively so well, like, what you want to do with your life. And she said, you know, if you could have your dream life 5 years, 10 years down the road, what would it be? And I said, I would love to make videos and write full time, like, and just put my heart and soul into all of it, you know, and just go fly around and hell, show up at a Bob Evans and, you know, Topeka, Kansas, and whoever shows up for a meet and greet's there, and we'll just sit down and all of us have biscuits and gravy, and wouldn't that be fun? I would love that so much, you know, and maybe someday I'll be able to do that, but until then, I'm gonna put air in my tire and then I'll be back. Okay, bye. Okay, I'm leaving the gas station. Let me just tell you, I do not know. I have like been going to this stupid, here, I'm gonna show you this machine. I'm at the Shell gas station. Did I say stupid machine? No. This machine right here is the Bombalicious, okay? This machine that I have been going to, I mean, it's fine. Some of them, you guys, don't even have tire gauges on it, which I am not a mechanic anyway, so I don't even know half the time how to use this shit, but I do know how to use a tire gauge. So this one I've been going to, that's by my house, you know, it has this thing, and like you pump air, you hold the air and you pump it, and then when you release it, it like shoots the stick out, so you know when to stop. Well, this one I love because it's set at 32, and so when you hit 32, it just beeps and it goes off, which is perfection. Then you just hold it like the whole time. And but I've been setting it a little bit higher than that because my tire's been going so low so quick, and it's like so quick. And I just sat there and I just like watched it. And I was like, oh my god, this is like the best tire air thing in the world. So if you need to fill your tire, that's the one that you should find. So yeah. But I really do love this so much. And you know, I mean, I'm not gonna start a new channel. I mean, let's just be for real, that's stupid. But like, there are some things I want to change up. And you know, I love doing books. I love reading books. And I love doing my BookTube channel. But I think that I might do like Film Fridays on my BookTube channel. And I think, because I want to start reviewing movies or documentaries that I love and rewatching some of them. So I think I'm going to do like Film Fridays on my BookTube channel, and or Screen Saturdays, or, you know, Cinema Saturdays, or something stupid like that. Because like books and movies go together. I would love to start a whole channel where I just review movies, but why do I have to start 15 channels? I don't have to. So I'm gonna put that on my BookTube channel, and I'm kind of like grow that out a little bit, or maybe even post 2 videos on that day. But I'm excited about that because I love talking about movies. I love it so much, and I thought, you know, I want to have a place where I do that. So I'm also gonna put that on my BookTube channel. And I think that you have to sometimes sit back and just see how things grow. Like, it's funny that I love that Peterisms channel so much, and, you know, like 6 months ago, if you had said to me, you should do a channel where you're just telling stories of your life, I would have said, no, I'm gonna do this healthy channel. That was stupid. It was just, I mean, it wasn't stupid had I stuck to it and it had worked, and I guess I'd be on there, I don't know, telling stories about how to make smoothies or my workout programs. But like, I'm not, even when I'm working out and in the best shape, like, even then I am not that inspired to talk about it. It's like almost kind of like a spiritual experience for me. It's something that's very personal. And like, we were at dinner the other night, and like Melissa was like, you're still a vegetarian? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you know, what's it about for you now? And I said, I don't know, Melissa. I said, you know, it's really hard. It's like, I feel like I've done like my piece, and I've done what I wanted to do with it. So if tomorrow I started eating meat again, I don't know that, like, I don't know really what's keeping me, but like, I really struggle with the concept of eating my pets. And I know that sounds crazy to people probably. I know you guys are like, well, you don't eat pets, and, you know, like, I don't know. And I was thinking tonight about, like, I was asking a friend of mine who's vegan. I said, you know, you have two very nice handbags that you carry. She carries this gorgeous Louis Vuitton handbag and this gorgeous Chanel handbag. And I said, you know, how do you get around being a vegan and carrying these handbags? And she said, I've been a vegan for like a year now. And she said, I was a vegetarian before that. And she said, I will never buy, she said, I don't, like, what I have is what I have. She said, but I will never buy another. There are so many options out there of what I can buy. And she said, you know what's interesting, Peter? She said, I like my bags. She said, but it's changed my perspective too. She was like, you know, being a vegan and my love of animals and things has really changed my need to not really need these things, you know? And she's like, there's canvas and there's hemp and there's all different kinds, you know, there's nubuck, there's all different kinds of, you know, whatever. I think nubuck is not leather, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's, you know, all different kinds of fibers and, you know, textiles that you can, things out there that are fantastic that you don't have to have it. Like, it's interesting to me on some level that a lot of fashion designers have kind of made a return to fur. I don't really understand that. I thought we were kind of done with fur, honestly, but I've always thought that fur coats were gorgeous on animals. I don't like them on people. And I don't know. I don't know that I ever will go back to not being a vegetarian. I don't know that you know, I was talking to her boyfriend because her boyfriend is a vegetarian, but I said every once in a while you'll have like a piece of fish or something, and he said, I identify myself as plant-based, and he said I probably eat like 95% plant-based food, and he said, and that's my attitude towards life. He was like, but every once in a while, like, if I'm at a restaurant, I'm having a good time with my friends, and my options are a side salad or a meal, he goes, I'm gonna have a meal. And he goes, because a lot of restaurants, especially in Indiana, don't have vegetarian options and things like that. And I don't know, it just changed for me over time, you know, my whole perspective about all of it. And I don't know what imprint I'm making on the world and things like that, and who I want to be as a person. And not really that hard. Like, it was funny when I was watching that Joan Didion documentary. In there at the end, she's making these sandwiches in the kitchen, and they're like mayonnaise and cheese and cucumbers. They're like little cucumber sandwiches, and she cuts the edges off of it and everything. And I was like, God, that looks so delicious. Well, I mean, it's cucumbers and cheese. It's not like, you know. Cousin Caroline today. I hadn't talked to her in a while. She's just coming back from Florida. She and her husband went to what's it called? Longboat Key. My aunt and uncle have a place down there, and I guess my uncle doesn't want to go down there anymore since my aunt passed away. So Caroline was using it, which I totally understand, I guess, that he wouldn't want to go down there. It's hard for him to travel now too. He's been a long-term heart patient, which is so sad to me. But so anyway, I didn't even talk about what I did today. Alex and I got up, and I got up late because of daylight savings time, and because I went to bed. I got home last night and I could not fall asleep, and so I'm doing this book tag on BookTube. You guys should try this. This is really fun, okay? You take 5 books that you've been meaning to read, but like have been on your like to read list forever, right? You take 5 books, and then you read the first chapter of all 5 books, and then you pick which one you're going to read next. And so last night I sat down because I had done it on my BookTube channel, and I had asked people for like suggestions of which ones to read. I picked 7, and I let them pick the 5. Well, one of them that they picked was This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab, Victoria Schwab. And I sat down last night, and I started reading it, and I was like, this is fantastic. Like, I love this. This is so good. And so I like curled up on the couch and just sat there and read forever. And it was really good. But then it's kind of like a, what do you call it? A dystopian book, kind of. I don't know how people would define it. You know, dystopian is like futuristic, but I don't know if like people would define it as it is futuristic, but it doesn't feel dystopian, if that makes sense. If you've read it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I don't know how people would define it, but then it kind of like freaked me out as I was going to bed. I was kind of like thinking about some of this stuff. So anyway, I was like laying there in bed and I couldn't fall asleep. So anyway, I got up and Alex was kind of just like moseying around with the dogs, and PP wouldn't take his medicine. And so Alex, like, God love him, but like, he has like a hard time because he thinks he's being mean to PP. So like, he gets down on PP's level and he's like, PP, eat this treat, PP. Well, PP's fooled by that, okay? He knows something's up. He's like, the gig is up. You don't talk to me like that any other time. You know, Alex is like, treat, treat, treat. And then now he's like, PP, take this little treat, okay? The other day, Alex like... Alex took this pill and he rolled it up in a cheese ball. The cheese ball was about that big. He wanted to know why PP wouldn't eat it. He got so mad before he left for work, and he was like really upset. And he's like, I can't get him to take the medicine, blah, blah, blah. I could just leave it. I'll give it to him. And I'm like asleep and all this is going on, right? He always brings it to the bedroom, and then I'm like, like that. And so I texted him when I got up and I said, my God, that cheese ball you made was the size of a meatball. He goes, well, how are you supposed to hide the pill? I said, just make it really small. So I always like take these pieces of cheese off, and then I'm like, Tucker, here's your little piece of cheese. Oh my God, this is so good. And then I give it to PP, and I like little ball, right? And then I'm like, oh baby, here's your treat, eat it. And then, which is not a whole lot different than what Alex does, but I'm not like begging him to take the treat, right? Well, he's getting smart about it. So yesterday and today, I had to pill him. Well, Alex won't do it. And I said, babe, you're gonna have to learn how to do this. PP has to take his medicine, okay? The vet said she doesn't care what he's eating, she doesn't care, you know, but he's got to take his medicine, period. So if you don't know what pilling is when a dog won't take their meds, and you basically have to open their mouth, stick the medicine in, and close their mouth and make sure that they swallow it, okay? But you don't have to do it in a nasty way. And the way that I do it is, I just kind of slide my fingers in the side of his mouth, and I just pry his mouth open a little bit. He looks up at me the whole time I'm doing it, and he's kind of like, okay, Dad, I'm gonna trust you. And then I take the cheese ball, which is very, very small, and I put it on his tongue, and then I close his mouth, and I just go, good boy, good boy, good boy, and he swallows it. Well, once you get the first one down, people will typically eat the next 2 because he trusts you after that, right? Well, now, even after just 2 days of pilling him, PP knows what I have to do. And it's weird, like I was telling Alex, I was like, I think he knows what we're doing. Like, I think he knows we're trying to help him through this medication, you know, because we wouldn't force him to eat a treat. And he's like, no, he's not that smart. And I'm like, yeah, he is that smart. Dogs are smarter than you give him credit for, Alex. And I said, PP is a really smart dog. I mean, Boo Radley, no, I don't think he might get it. But PP, yeah, sure, you know? And so, you know, Alex gave me the treats, and PP kind of just like turned around and looked at me. And so like because tonight when I gave him his meds, he just kind of opened his mouth right away. Oh, this was the thing. So then tonight, Alex was laying on the couch watching TV. He was watching the Green Hornet or whatever he watches. He watches all those Marvel shows. And I was working on the computer. And I said, have you given PP his medication? And he was like, no. I go, well, I'll do it. I don't have a problem doing it. So I went over and I took them outside, the dogs, and then when they came in, I'm like giving Tucker and Boo treats, which is like the cheese. And so what you do is you go, oh, here, Boo, here, Tucker, here, PP. And then instead of giving PP a little piece of cheese, you give him the cheese ball that's already been rolled before you walked outside, right? He ain't having it. So he ran right over the couch and jumped on Alex's lap. Well, I came over there with the 3 little pieces of cheese, because I put 2 of the pills on one. You guys are like, this is so boring. I put 2 of the pills on one little small piece of cheese and just pressed it in. And then the other half, the vet medin, I split in half, and then I put in these cheese balls, right? So I go over there, and PB is just like looking at me, and I didn't even hardly touch his mouth, and he went, it was the sweetest thing. And Alex goes, how do you get him to do that? I go, I don't know. I go, but this is what we have to do. I go, we have to do this, Alex. PP Alex. That's when you know you're getting older, is when you can't get the names right. I said, we have to do this. Like, we have to, you know? So, whatever. And so many people tell me different ways. They're like, you can make it into oil, you can make it into this, you can do this, you can do that, the Cheese Whiz. I'm gonna get the Cheese Whiz this week and try to start it. But y'all now, and like Boo Radley, we couldn't figure out why he wasn't eating his food. And then I did a whole plate of him with the little dots around there. Because, you know, like the only dog that we have that has good teeth is Tucker. I don't think Tucker's ever lost a teeth. His teeth are perfect. It's the weirdest thing. When we go to the vet says that Boo and PP have muck mouth, okay? It's like disgusting. And they're like, how does Tucker have great teeth and Boo and PP have horrible teeth? And we're like, we have no idea, okay? Like, Boo's teeth are the worst out of all 3. It's disgusting. I mean, it literally looks like, you know, a pirate from like the 1400s or something. And poor guy. So when we get back, we're gonna get their teeth cleaned. I said, are we even gonna pay to get their teeth cleaned, Alex? I said that each of them now, I mean, PP and Boo each have about 2 teeth. You know, he's like, yes, the vet said that we need to get him clean. It's not even that expensive. It's like less than $100 for a dog to get him cleaned. So he was like, and the thing is, well, this is what the vet told us. The thing is that if you keep their teeth, this is a good, okay, if you have a puppy, listen to me. Brush your teeth, get your dog's teeth cleaned regularly, okay? Because a dog's teeth can lean towards the longevity of their life. That's a true story. That's what the vet told us. So, if we get their teeth cleaned, especially with PP being sick, that he has a better chance of living longer. He's not coughing a lot. He's, like, the medicine seems to be working. Fingers crossed. So, I'm kind of freaking out a little bit because PP's birthday is in August, and, you know, he'll be 12. And the vet told me in what, November or December, whenever I found out about him having heart disease, I said, you know, when I said to her, I said, like, well, what's the reality of the expectancy, you know? And she said, well, I'd like to see him make it to 13 and a half. And it's so weird. It's like, I'm starting to like, I mean, and you know, honestly, like, 13 and a half for a dog is a good life, you know? It really is. It's a good life. But, like, I'm already, like, I feel like I'm counting down the days. And it's so weird because, you know, 3 or 4 nights out of the week, Boo and Tucker sleep in their house. And so it's PP and I that wake up in the morning, and he stands on my chest, and he gets up and he licks my face. And then I'm like, you ready to go outside? And he's like, whoo, like that. You know what I mean? He's like, he's still a puppy. He still plays like a puppy. And, I think to some degree, Boo and Tucker, I'm not itching my eye because I'm crying, which would be normal for my channel. I don't know what, I think I'm like allergies are starting, but I think Boo and Tucker keep him a little bit younger, you know? Boo has actually started to sleep a lot. It really worries me. All Boo really ever does is sleep. The thing is that, like, Tucker has always been a player. Like, like Tucker plays with bones, he plays with toys. Like, every toy we have in our house are Tucker's, because PB used to play with toys, but he doesn't really play with them anymore. He's never been like a big one for toys. Like, he'll play with them for a minute or two and then he gets bored. Really, the only reason PP likes toys is to steal them from his brothers. Boo Radley has never understood the purpose of toys. He doesn't understand toys. They make him nervous. He doesn't get them. Does anybody else have a dog like that out there? I mean, like, Boo Radley does not, I've never seen a dog like this before in my entire life, okay? He doesn't understand toys at all. Like, you can squeak a squeak toy and he goes, like, he gets nervous. Like, he doesn't understand them. And I know that, you know, there's a lot wrong with Boo Radley, but it's kind of crazy, you know? So, anyway, Tucker's the only one that plays. Well, Tucker, I guess they all just kind of lay around a lot. I don't know. What do dogs do? Hell, they're like my children, and I worry so much, you know? It makes me sad. It feels really early. It's like 1:30. It's 1:46. I texted her before I left, and I was like, are you still there? And she didn't text me back. She's probably still sitting there, so winning so much, she can't be bothered to text me back. Or she left and was so pissed she lost money. But we'll see when I get there. I bought 5 books on Audible yesterday. So I don't even know. I've been like so rambling. You guys are like, this is the most rambliest vlog I've ever heard. But anyway, so we went to brunch today. It was so delicious. The waiter was, okay, this kills me, right? When you go to a restaurant, like on a regular basis, and spend a lot of money there. We go to Cafe Patashu in Indianapolis once or twice a week. It is every week, okay? It is my favorite restaurant in Indianapolis. We always get the same thing. I love it. It's how we choose to spend our Sundays. If you've watched my videos long enough, you've heard me talk about it, right? Well, they switched up the schedule, which is fine. We talked to our, we saw the guy that's usually our waiter there last week, Michael. He's fantastic. But they also got a new hostess, and she's rude as sin. The last 2 times we've come in, we always get there late. Okay, now let me tell you something. We usually walk in, and it's like emptying out. There's like 2 tables left. Well, they serve you really quick. Alex and I don't take long to eat. We're pretty much done in like, we can eat in like a half an hour to 40 minutes. And they've told us before, the manager has come out, because like the general manager speaks Spanish, and she's from like Colombia, and so she comes out and talks to Alex, and they speak in Spanish, and they love him and all this kind of stuff, and they're always very, very friendly to us. I smell a skunk, and it is not pretty. So it's never an issue when we come in at like 2:20 or 2:30, and then we have, you know, they close at 3 o'clock, because we order that quick. So anyway, this new hostess they have, the last 2 times we have come in, she has gone, she goes, you know we closed at 3, right? And I'm like, honey, we've been coming here longer than you've been alive. I mean, I've been going to this restaurant since what is going on with my nose? I have been going to this restaurant since I was in graduate school. 99 to 09, 98 to exactly 20 years. She's probably 20 years old. So I truly have been going to this restaurant about as long as she is old. And she said it to us twice, and I just was like, oh yeah, sure. She goes, so today, because the last time I was a little short with her, I wasn't mean, I just was kind of like, yeah. And so this time I thought, and Alex was like, well, you didn't have to be short with her. So this time I was like, okay, be real nice to her. I said, yeah, we're quick eaters or something like that. And she goes, better be. I was like, what? Or something like that, she said. So then we get this waiter that we've never seen before, and he is so rude, so completely rude. I am so completely rude. And Alex was real over it. I mean, to the point where we were like, we're trying some new places. Like, we ain't coming back here for the next couple weeks for brunch. Like, they need to get their shit figured out. And the thing that's so sad about this place is that it has a very family atmosphere to it, like a college kind of like, you know, meeting hall place. Like, everybody that works there, you know, it's the same cast of characters that have been in there for like 5 years. And so if you're a regular, in fact, there's this guy, you know, Alex and I have been eating brunch there every Sunday, or every, you know, sometimes Saturdays for the last 4 or 5 years. There's this guy that's about my age, and he comes in and he sits, because they have a counter, he sits at the counter every Sunday, okay? And he orders, like, it's not a mimosa, it's, I don't know, something that's like pink. It's like some pink, like, drink, like wine in a glass, like a rosé, something, I don't know. But anyway. And then he gets like an omelet and toast. Same thing every week. I always see him sitting there at the counter, right? Today, he comes in and they sit him at a table all the way in the corner. Like, you can tell how excited he is to be there and sit at the counter and talk to the people that work at the counter, the waiters and the cooks and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is what he enjoys doing on a Sunday. They sat him in a corner at a table facing the outside, and I thought, I'd be pissed if I was him. They didn't know how to treat their regulars today at all, and I thought, y'all are going to start losing some business. Like, this is not how you do business. No, ma'am, nuh-uh, Cafe Patashu. You need to start you need to start treating your regulars right. If you own a restaurant or you own a local business, treat your regulars very well, because they love you, because they love the special treatment they come in there. It's like when I go through Starbucks. I mean, even though it's not a locally owned business, every one of those people in there is so friendly to me when I come through, and they're like, hey, how are you? And blah, 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 blah. You know, they give me my coffee free half the time, and it's not even about that to me. I'd pay for my coffee all the time when I went through there, and it's not even about the free coffee to me. It's about the fact that they're like, hey, Peter, how are you? How are you doing? All that kind of stuff. You know, it makes me go there instead of somewhere else where they don't know me. It's just a little bit of an added bonus, you know? It's the same reason why people go to the same hairstylist over and over and over again. Yeah, all of a sudden, I am smelling my aunt's perfume. It is kind of freaking me out a little bit. I smell it so strong right now, you guys. My aunt's perfume, it's so weird. I used to walk into my condo and I would smell my mom, like, and then the next day, poof, it would be gone. I couldn't smell her at all. That was so weird. But anyway, she's probably like, stop bitching, stop complaining. But you know, like when you go to the same hairstylist for a long time, you know, even if it's like you're not 100% happy with the services that you're getting, or they're not the greatest hairstylist in the entire world, it's like, okay, but here's the thing. It's like, I love going there and talking to them. It's cathartic for me. They know my life. They ask about my kids. They ask about my husband. They know the trips I'm taking. You know, if I'm 5 minutes late, they don't really care. It's like that, you know? It's like, people need to realize that we need to get back to like front porch business kind of attitude with stuff, you know? You know, my dad has worked in hospital services for a long time, and he was talking to me one day, and he was like, we don't know what to do, because, God, I can still smell it. It's so bizarre. He's like, we're losing a lot of ER business. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, we're losing a lot of business because a lot of people are going to other ERs. And I said, well, what are the complaints that they're getting at your emergency room? And he goes, that it doesn't feel like a personalized experience, which the ER never is, right? And he said, and that it's too slow, and that people don't explain what they're supposed to do with the paperwork and stuff. And I said, okay, what you need to do is, I said, Dad, anytime I ever walk into one of your hospitals, because there's like several hospitals, I said, anytime I ever walk into one of your hospitals, you always have these old ladies that are like 70 to 80, right? And they're walking around, and they always have the same like candy striper kind of outfit on or whatever, you know, it's that apron. And they're just like, hi, how are you? Can I help you? Hi, how are you? Can I help you? And they're just like walking around, and they have like really nothing to do, you know, except for sit at information desks and walk around and ask people if they're lost. I said, you need to get like 4 of them, okay, round the clock. So, or 2 or 3 of them around the clock, and they work like 8-hour volunteer, you know, schedules. And then they're just in the emergency room. And then every person that comes in is assigned to one of them, and you call them the ER grandmas or something like that, right? And then every person that comes in there, they get assigned to a grandma, and then the grandma, or whatever you want to call them, the neighbor or whoever, you know, she's just dressed real normal, in like, you know, a dress and a sweater, or khakis and a sweater or whatever, and she's got a clipboard, and well, she says to the people that come in, how can I help you? My name is, Sophia from Golden Girls. What can I do to help you? Blah, 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 whatever. And she explains the process, and she takes them to the window. Let's get you checked in. Get your clipboard. I'm going to sit down with you, and I'm going to go over this. Okay, while you're filling this out, I'm going to go welcome these next people. I'll be back over here in 5 minutes to check in with you. And then she walks you through the whole process. She checks in with you every 10 or 15 minutes and says, hey, they haven't called you back yet. I just went and checked. You're, 2 more on the list. You'll be here in just a second. Keeps the whole thing rolling. And she goes through the whole process with you until they get you a room in the ER. Now, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that personalized experience? And that's all volunteer. Not to mention, those volunteers would feel like they were doing something. They would feel like they were really helping out more than just telling somebody where the bathroom was. You know what I mean? Like, and my dad goes, that would never work. I go, why wouldn't it ever work? He goes, people don't like that kind of stuff. I go, people love that kind of stuff. That's what you need to do. So if you run a hospital out there or a doctor's office, you should do that. In fact, like, doctor's offices should do that. Doctor's offices should have some old lady sitting up in their waiting area and call her grandma and have her introduce themselves to each, patient that comes through there. I think that would be fantastic. Sure, it would take a little bit of a buy-in. People would think it was cheesy at first, but I think after a while, people would be like, this is fantastic. If I had some lady that was walking me through the whole process of going to the emergency room, I've been through that process with my mom and other people. It's a mess. If I had somebody that walked me through and told me exactly what was going on and it was transparent, I would feel so safe. So, I don't know, it's like, how did I even get to that? My mind has gone in a million different directions tonight. This is about to shut off because I'm at 29 minutes and 45 seconds. So I will be back with you guys in 2 and 2. Okay, I just passed what was so funny. I passed this car and it was for sale, and I kept on looking at it. I was like, that looks like a police car. And it was just sitting on the side of the road, like on the grass, and it had this for sale sign. And I was like, that's a police sign. That's a police car. And then at the light over here, there was a police, one of those SUVs, and it was sitting at the stop sign or stoplight. And then when I went through it, it went over, it curled around and looked at the truck, and I was like, or at the car. And I was like, this is so funny. But a policeman is looking at why this police car is for sale. I had this kid back in the day when I worked at treatment. I don't know what he thinks of this story now, but back in the day, he thought it was the most hilarious thing. He had a neighbor that was a police officer, and he and his friends stole this police car, and they drove through the city of Carmel at the time and blasted the sirens and got on the thing and were saying all these hilarious, they would drive by people and be like, you should be arrested for that hairdo and stuff like that. They thought it was so funny, and they got so busted for it. They got in so much trouble. I mean, rightfully so, you know what I mean? But anyway, okay, I need your help a little bit. So here's the thing. When I got home from brunch today, how did I get, I was talking about business. That's how I got all the way to the hospital thing. When I got home today, I am trying to pre-film my booktube videos and my Peterisms videos before I leave to go on vacation. Because A, I want them to be quality videos that people continue to enjoy. When I went to Mexico, I just sat down and just filmed them. If you guys watched them during that time, I still made videos, but they were short and they weren't really well thought out. And so I want to pre-film a lot of my videos before I get to Florida so that I have them just to post for that day. And I talked to Alex about it, and Alex is like, but I thought we were going to do videos together, and you're going to film videos there, and the scenery is so pretty and stuff. And I said, well, I'm going to. I said, I'm still going to, film videos while we're there and all that kind of stuff. And he said, okay. I said, but I just want to have videos ready. So, if it's a day that we're, busy and, we're running to the music festival, I can just upload it, and I still have videos. Now, for my drama channel, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to get up early and do those videos and just post them for the day. I'm going to have, 4 or 5 on that channel that are kind of pre-recorded, just in case I don't have time on certain days. But the majority of those I'll probably post that day. And hey, if I skip videos a day, I skip videos a day. But today I came home, I filmed, are you guys ready for this? I filmed 5 videos today. Plus my vlog. I did my vlog, and then I did my booktube video that I posted today, and then I did another booktube video my first one, I have to make, are you ready for this? You guys are gonna die. I have to have 10 videos for my booktube channel and 10 videos for my Peterisms channel ready to go. I'm kind of excited about it, ready to go so that I can just upload them while I'm gone. So like when I'm gone, I can just boop from my phone, boop, just upload them, and they're ready. So I filmed an extra booktube video, and then I filmed my Peterisms video today, which was about me playing sports when I was growing up. I watch all my videos back, and I know that like a lot of YouTubers go, I don't ever watch my videos back, which I think is interesting. I always watch all my videos back, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times, like, I don't, like, once the filming is done, I'm like, I don't really remember what I said. And so I watch it back just to make sure that it sounds the way that I wanted it to sound. Even though I make mistakes in my videos and I don't edit and stuff, like a lot of times, you know, I'll go back and I'll be like, yeah, that didn't come across the way that I wanted it to sound, or I don't know. So I always watch my videos back. Plus, a lot of times something will happen in a video, you know, like, you know, Boo Radley will be behind me and I don't even realize what he's doing, and he's being a crazy man. And so I'm like, okay, that doesn't like look real great. So I need to, you know, have something different on there. But anyway, I filmed my Peterisms video today, and then I filmed an extra one, and a lot of times, like today, I was I read an old blog, which was one of the was my extra Peterisms video. But a lot of times for stories on my Peterisms channel, I pull from stories I've told on here, but things that I've only told pieces of, or that I've started to tell that I haven't really got into longer story versions of, or, you know, maybe things that you guys would like to know more of. Will you please put it in the comment section in this video and just say, hey, some suggestions I have, or I'd like to hear more about this, so that maybe I could turn those into some pre-recorded story times that will be ready while I'm gone. I'd also like to do a video while I'm on vacation with Alex, because, you know, Alex has really no problem doing videos with me anymore. He doesn't love to be vlogged all the time, because typically when I have the vlog camera out is when he's like relaxing after work, if that makes sense. And he's just, you know, sitting around in basketball shorts and a t-shirt, and he just kind of wants to be relaxed. So he doesn't necessarily want me having the camera on him, you know what I mean? But he doesn't mind being in videos. He enjoys them. So I thought one thing that we would do, because I've talked so much about it on my vlog, is I'd like us to do a video talking, and I asked him, he was like, yeah, I think that would be a great video for people. So we're gonna do a video, and if we don't do it while we're on vacation, we'll do it when we get back, but we're gonna do a video talking about the importance of marriage counseling and how it was really helped us and how it's benefited us. Is that something that you guys would find interesting? You know, and I think we'd also like to do a video about what we thought marriage would be and what marriage is, and how to make a marriage work. You know, I've talked a lot about how our marriage hasn't been easy, but at the same time, I'm very proud of the fact that we are coming up on 10 years of being together and 7 years being married. I mean, 7 years being married is no joke for any kind of couple. And we've come against a lot of odds, you know, not to mention only, like, you know, the legal odds of when we originally got married. You legally could not get married in the United States. And that was like a serious discussion for us, you know, and maybe that would be an interesting story time to talk about, like, why we decided to get married before it was legal, you know. I don't know, but there are some different videos that I want to do, but and then I also want to do some story times, obviously, of just myself. So if you guys have some suggestions of story times that I've like started telling things on here, or I've talked a little bit about, but I haven't got into like full, you know, stories about, would you let me know? Because my guess is that the majority of you that watch my vlog probably watch my Peterisms channel too. Like, in a way that I don't think that like everybody that watches my drama channel watches my Peterisms channel, if that makes sense. I think that like the Peterisms and the vlog channel kind of go together. I think a lot of people watch those two channels. Or like my booktube and Peterisms channel. And I know that it's a big commitment to watch this channel. I know that a lot of people are like, Peter, I love you, but your vlogs are way too long. Like, I get it. But at the same time, so many people seem to really, really like the long vlogs. I haven't gotten any complaints about it in a long time. Like, it almost is, it's weird. It's almost like the longer the vlog, the more people enjoy it. And it's just something that I do now. I have so much fun, like, getting in the car and kind of giving you a recap of my day. And then, you know, like, talking about, I don't know, just random things that are in my mind. I get to relive my life a little bit. It makes me think about the things that are really important in my life. It makes me realize what things I've really enjoyed in my life and, you know, the important moments. And it's fantastic. It's really fun. And, you know, if you're a parent out there, or even a grandparent, or younger in college or whatever, you know, and you've ever thought about vlogging, even if you don't really care about having a following, or, you know, you think you'll never get a subscriber or whatever, to have the video footage to look back on, you know, even if you just do 5-minute vlogs and you're not in a car talking like I am, but you're just showing pieces of your day, to have that to have that video diary of your life, I think is so cool. Like, I really am sad that I don't have a lot of footage of my mom, like, of just sitting there talking. You know, the reality is that we had the ability, technologically, to film each other back when she was alive, or definitely to record her, you know, and I don't have that. And it makes me very sad that I didn't make more of a purpose of getting, you know, you always think you have more time than you do, is the reality. Is you always think you have another day. You know, I was thinking about this, like, PP's sickness has changed me in a lot of ways, the way that my mom's death changed me. You know, before PP got sick, I would take the dogs outside, and, you know, I don't mind standing out there with them for a little bit, but we don't have a fenced-in yard, so our dogs can't just go run around for like a half an hour. That's one of the things that makes me the saddest, is that we don't have a yard for our dogs to do that, because PP is a dog, Boo Radley and Tucker too, but Tucker kind of goes and does his business, and then he's ready to come inside. But PP really likes to just walk around in the yard. And one of my happiest moments in life is watching PP, and he'll just kind of like stand there, you know, and he'll just like look up and smell the wind and the air, and it's just, you can see that he just loves being outside. And whereas before, you know, I'd stand outside with the dogs for like 10 minutes, and then I'd be like, okay, come on guys, come on, let's go inside, let's get treats, let's go inside. And, you know, PP be kind of resistant to it, and I'd be like, come on PP, let's go, let's get inside, come on, let's go get treats. I got stuff to do, is what I was thinking in my head. You know, it's always like, I got stuff to do. We've always got stuff to do, don't we? We always have shit to do that's more important than what we're doing. Well, I don't have a problem standing outside for 5 or 10 or 15 more minutes anymore, because you know what? I'm gonna look back someday and I'm gonna wish that I let PP just enjoy that, you know? And I want him to enjoy it now. I want Boo and Tucker to enjoy it now. And I want to enjoy those moments as well. I want to stand out there and I want to enjoy those moments with my dogs, so that I don't look back and have any regrets, you know? I want to enjoy those small little moments where, you know, PP just is wandering through the yard and looking at stuff and smelling the air, and he sees a squirrel and he gets excited, you know? Like, I'm never going to get those moments back in time. And I think sometimes when people and animals get sick in our lives, or tragedy occurs, time slows down, and the really important things come to the surface. But isn't it sad that it takes those moments to make us appreciate the things that are most important? And so I'm thankful. If anything positive has come out of him being sick, it's really made me appreciate more the time that I have with him now, and to really appreciate every moment that I have with him. And in my life a little bit more, you know, I think. So, All right, you guys, I'm gonna get off here. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.